and welcome to the Everyone Active podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jo.
And I'm another one of your hosts, Michelle. How are you?
Really good. How are you?
Very good. I've been busy.
Oh.
Busy week.
But like good busy or
Always
like,
good
oh my
busy.
gosh, I'm pulling my hair
No,
out busy?
always good busy. Lots of trainings. I've been doing lots of trainings, been launching.
Let me stop there. So Michelle is one of our master trainers for Everyone Active.
I am,
So
yeah.
Michelle trains up instructors
Yes.
in order for the instructors then be able to be qualified and teach you.
Yes.
So
So
you've been doing
I've
that.
been doing that. Been up to lots of lovely sites in the last couple of weeks. So that's been nice. Big shout out to Blandford site. Hi. They really looked after me at Blandford.
Ah.
They took me out for lunch. I had a lovely time.
Oh, wow.
So I was did Rejuvenate training there, which is, we're going to talk about that today, aren't we?
We are.
And I've been doing some aqua training. So that's been nice. Yeah, I've been around the country.
Lovely.
I've been on the road.
Oh,
As indeed we are today.
we are indeed.
Now, we were here last episode.
We were.
So
One of my favourite rooms. And it's now like a podcast room.
it is.
Hello again to Team Lodge. Whoop. Westminster Lodge, which is our St Albans site, just down the road from our Harpenden site, round the corner from Cotlandswick, which is
It's
London
a lovely
Colney.
centre, this, isn't it? It's really nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's really nice.
Nice little bit of footage available on this site as well.
There is actually, isn't there?
Yeah, it's
and in
just
fact,
brilliant.
lots of filming that we do is at this site, isn't it? Lots of the filming that we do comes from here.
And also, I've just thought it kind of ties in lovely.
It does.
Because we've got a dedicated yoga studio at this site. And today we are talking...
Mind and body workouts.
Yay!
Hooray! We just thought we'd do a special little episode on this, didn't we, really? Because it's so current at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I think people get a bit confused sometimes about what things are and the benefits and the differences, really. So I thought we could chat about that today.
And especially as you are an expert, we
Well.
get to quiz, we get to learn.
Oh.
Yay!
Hooray!
Ready to do this.
Okay, so before we start, I know we always say this at the beginning of every podcast, but we have had, again, some questions which we're going to cover on a future episode. If you've got questions or subjects that you want us to cover, this was one of the things that you wanted us to cover. We had an email about it. Drop us an email, which is podcast@everyoneactive.com, or send us something on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. I feel I can't say X without doing the X. So if you're only listening, visualise me doing the
Michelle
X.
has gone well into the mode of the X.
Yeah. So yeah, this is why this episode's come around, really, because we had some questions about it.
Yeah.
So yes.
So it's a very big area. So we're going to try and channel them down. We're not lumping together, but in people's heads, we talk sometimes about Pilates, we talk about stretching, we talk about rehabilitation, we talk about yoga. So this is our mind body connection type classes.
And some sites will have more offerings than others. And some sites will just sort of have branded things, and some sites will have a generic kind of stretch class. So we're talking about that today, I think, a little bit.
I'm going to get to quiz you.
Okay. I'm going to put my thinking hat on.
Yes. So mind body workouts, the one that is going to jump to the top, yoga.
Yoga, yes.
So what is yoga?
Okay, so yoga, it's quite difficult to actually trace back the exact origins of yoga. We think it was around about 3,000 years ago, which is amazing. And it sort of ties up with lots of like Buddhism and Hinduism and all sorts of really old religions. And it was actually first, we're all just thinking this is kind of where we think it was devised from, for a form of medication and just sort of spiritual well-being.
Gorgeous.
So it's been around a while.
So it's that mind-body connection,
Yeah.
and have how we're doing movements in forms of exercises that can help us heal, that can help us relax, that can help us get stronger,
And also help us switch off from things and have, and
Nice.
in some instances, help us to sort of do some meditation. And there's some forms of yoga that help you do that. But it's a bit, I always think that it's a bit of a minefield. I think yoga, as you say, just gets lumped in. And I've been a yoga instructor for a number of years now. And again, I think before I became an instructor, I used to be an active participant. And again, I used to just go to my local yoga class, and I loved it. And that was just a hatha yoga class. So I'll talk a little bit about the different styles of yoga.
Let's go there now, because I know we can look on a timetable and there could be 4, 5 different types of yoga.
Yeah. So I think the main sort of the hatha yoga, which is kind of the foundational stance point of yoga for a lot of people, really focuses on aligning your breath with certain asanas. And asana is the phrase that we use for poses.
Okay.
So you combine that with your breath. And that's very much what hatha yoga is. So it's sort of like an all-encompassing sort of visualization of it, really. Go on, have you got another one for me?
No, I was just going to say, so what does that look like physically if you're combining your breath with a move?
So, for example, if you're coming into a move, for example, like let's just go for a simple move like a lunge, which people probably know what a lunge is. So in a yoga stance, we'll be looking at obviously getting the body aligned into the right physical position and then incorporating breath. So as you're maybe lifting your arms overhead in a lunge, looking to maybe inhale and then settling down into the position. So we use breath to help us get into a certain position.
Like it.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So if I was going in lunge, I'm taking my back foot forward, so I'm a split squat position. I'm going to breathe in as I sink down and lift my arms up.
And then you're going to think about exhaling and just softening into that pose.
Yes. Okay.
So we breathe differently in yoga. So in yoga, we breathe in through the nose, and we like to think of belly breath in yoga, which is different to Pilates. And I'll speak about Pilates.
I love finding out all of this.
So we talk about belly breathing a lot in yoga. And you might actually have when I teach a yoga class, I do actually have a specific sort of a section we just look at breathing. So pranayama, it's called. It's just your breath work. And it can help you in so many ways if you're consciously thinking about how you breathe. But yes.
So that's our hatha yoga.
Hatha yoga.
It's actually making me sit here and I love belly breathing.
I like belly
breathing.
breathing.
And it just kind of gets rid of a bit of that breathe in, hold your breath in. You actually get bigger when you take in oxygen because your lungs are expanding because we're going in.
Absolutely.
So belly breathing, we're expanding.
So if you think about you're breathing in, and as you breathe in, your belly almost expands out. And then as you exhale, you're going to feel everything release and softening.
Yay. That's hatha yoga.
Hatha yoga. What else can I tell you about?
What about, what's a vinyasa yoga?
Okay, so vinyasa yoga is very much a flowing kind of class. So in a hatha yoga class, for example, you would, say, for example, go from a lunge and then you would move into another position. So you might move into a forward fold. So with feet nice and wide and forward folding.
So that means tipping from your hips.
Yeah, hinging forwards from your hips and coming down. In a vinyasa class, you would look to really link those moves, those poses, those asanas together. So it's a flowing movement. So if, for example, you've been to a Mills Bodybalance class, that's quite closely aligned to a vinyasa feel to it because you're flowing. So you're flowing between movements.
Tip. Vinyasa, body
flowing
balance.
Yes, so kind of.
flowy.
I'll talk about body balance specifically because that's slightly different again. But if you've been to a body balance class, lots of people have. With that flowing move between your poses, that's what you're thinking about with vinyasa.
Is that also tapping into breath work? Is it like strength
Also
based?
breath work. With yoga, you're looking at strength, flexibility, mindfulness, relaxation. It's a great all-over body workout, and you are going to notice visible differences from participating
Power
in
of yoga.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
What about an Ashtanga yoga?
Okay, so Ashtanga yoga is a lot more rigorous. So again, it can be a lot more sort of quicker paced is what I'd say for Ashtanga yoga. People often refer to it as power yoga.
Power yoga.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I personally think that in a Les Mills Body Balance class, there's actually elements of Ashtanga yoga in there as well. Because again, it is quite powerful. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more dynamic, maybe look at an Ashtanga type class, but you're still going to get the same benefits, just might move a little bit quicker.
Is there a recommendation of style that you would say for a first time user that wants to go to a yoga class? Is there a certain style they should go to, or is it?
Well, I think you've got to find something that you like doing. Vinyasa is a really nice one to start with, but hatha is going to get you in the correct position. So when you're going to a yoga class, what you should be looking for, ideally, is that the instructor is amongst you and they're tweaking you and helping you getting to the right physical posture within a pose so that you're getting the real benefits from that. So hopefully you're not too worried about getting people hands-on.
Yoga qualifications in order to become a yoga instructor, they're a lot of months. It's very rigorous training in terms of all of the connections that you have to make.
Absolutely. And I mean, some people tend to go down, some people are lucky to go and do it in India and go and learn there and do 200 or 300 hours training there.
Say that again, how many hours?
200 hours. So my training was 300 hours that I did for yoga. So it's a lot, and it's, again, looking at how you can connect everything together within the body to make the perfect class. So, so with a yoga class, you're looking very much for it to be an all-over encompassing workout.
Oh, I like this. So we've tapped onto different forms of yoga style.
Yeah. So you've got something called Iyengar yoga.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Iyengar yoga is very much looking at your foundation. So you're looking very much on your focus on how you are in your postures. So it's very specific. And again, you can really get your technique honed in our Iyengar class.
So are these holding of poses, or is it flowing in between again?
No, they do hold. They can be flowing as well, but they do tend to hold them a little bit more in that kind of a class.
And I've noticed the benefit of yoga as well is it's absolutely anybody within their fitness journey, whether you're a beginner or whether you've been doing yoga for absolutely moons and moons and moons, whether you are a bodybuilder, whether you are a cyclist, yoga is all encompassing.
Yeah, I think the thing with yoga is that we call it yoga practice because it's always a work in progress. You're never looking for perfection. You're always looking and being accepting of where you are today. So your flexibility might be great today, but then tomorrow maybe you may be feeling a little bit tight in your hips. So again, it's accepting where you are today with things as well.
Ah,
do you like that?
I do. It's also making me feel all warm and cuddly with the yoga.
And then you've got things like yin yoga. Mm-hmm. So yin yoga is holding things for a longer bit. So maybe holding a pose for 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow. So that feels quite intense.
It's quite intense. So I would say that's probably for someone that has been practicing yoga for a little bit, or possibly would maybe not recommend it for a total beginner.
What name was that?
Yin yoga.
So yin yoga.
Yeah, yin yoga.
Is more an intense pose hold.
You're holding it for 3 to 5 minutes sometimes.
And when we're talking about a pose.
Again, we're talking about things. So a pose would be things like a lunge, a forward fold, a warrior 2 pose. I can get very technical, but that's kind of thing.
And you're holding it static for that. Wow.
Yeah. But again, still focusing on your breath work as well.
And I guess that's where the power of your breath and the power of your mind really does need to kick in.
Yeah.
Because after 30 seconds in a lunge, you might be like, oh, okay, it's aching. I'm actually got something to go and move. Do I want to twitch?
And then you're feeling everything trembling sometimes as well. So again, it's accepting where you are and things. Let's think of another yoga would be Bikram yoga.
Oh, yes.
Or hot yoga.
Hot yoga.
So that is, have you been to hot yoga or not? Have you ever been?
I have. I've done hot yoga.
How did you find it?
I really enjoyed it. However, I went into a studio where the roof wasn't actually equal and I ended up potentially slightly cooking underneath the heater because it was really near me rather than actually being a beginner and going to the other end of the studio where it wasn't quite as hot.
So traditionally in a Bikram yoga class, there's about 26 poses that you are performing.
Yes.
And it's within a certain temperature within your studio.
Yeah. Take water.
Oh my goodness, take water.
Wear loose clothing, but that's not going to fall upside down because you do go into poses.
Yeah, absolutely. So your traditional yoga class will start with some sort of meditation. You'll do some mobility work. And sometimes they'll add sun salutations in at that point. And then you'll get into the main body of your class. And it usually ends with relaxation as well.
And so the relaxation is actually lying on the floor, totally relaxed, gorgeous music, going off into your own little zone.
Your own little world. I haven't spoken to you about Kundalini yoga, have I?
No.
So Kundalini yoga is looking at awakening your energy.
Okay, so our human energy within our body.
So it might be with meditation. That sometimes includes chanting. And again, it's a really nice way just to connect and switch off from everything.
I think that's so important though, isn't it? Because I mean, I always say we've spoken about this before, but I mean, we love a good old chat, is that the pressures of life, the pressures of work, sometimes the pressures of intense exercise, we do actually just need to go back to the fact that we are all human beings.
Absolutely.
We are all built the same. We are the same inside. And let's just get back to the natural energies that our body thrives on.
Totally. And talking of helping your body, there's another form of yoga, which is restorative yoga. One of my faves. So restorative yoga is very much a calming, looking at restoring yourself. So we use lots of props. I'll talk about props in a minute, but specifically in restorative yoga, we're using bolsters, and it's just a really lovely way to just...
So when we're talking about restorative, is that like our joint alignments? Is it something within us?
Brilliant question. It's both.
Oh.
So we are looking at getting the body aligned, but we're really looking to connect and just actively let everything just relax. So we use bolsters, all sorts of little bits of kit we use.
Do you find that some yoga classes bring on emotions in people that maybe they've been holding on to or bottling?
Totally. I often have people becoming quite emotional in yoga classes. And again, I think when we switch off and actually just relax and let go, that's when all of those little things just come bubbling up to the surface.
Which is then a really good point of like getting a yoga class into your fortnightly, weekly routine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we don't want you to be bottling up and holding on to those emotions. Your body certainly doesn't want the stress of holding on to it.
And I think a big myth about yoga is that you have to be flexible to be able to go to a yoga class, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
I'm proof to that. My hamstrings, absolutely fine. Back, but I loved it and I can do it. And I really appreciate if I'm in a class and an instructor will correct me.
Yeah.
Because they can see what I'm maybe not feeling.
And we've also got lots of props that we use in yoga classes that can, so if you have got tight hamstrings and you do find it difficult to, for example, bend down to tie your shoelaces up, for example, we use yoga blocks and yoga bricks to help you. So it just gives you a little bit extra support to be able to get into those positions that long term, you're not going to need that block anymore, or you're not going to need that strap. So we use yoga straps a lot in our classes, which are pieces of long, a bit like a tie that you put around your dressing gown, that kind of thing. So you don't even have to have a yoga strap. And again, it just helps you just get a little bit more flexible. If you can't hold on to your arm or your leg, you can use a strap to help you. So it really is accessible for everyone.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a bit like PNF stretching.
Yes, absolutely like that. And then we talk about things like Body Balance.
Yes.
So Body Balance is one of our branded products that we run at lots of our centres. It's extremely popular at my site. I don't know if it's popular at yours.
We've just added 2 more classes of it.
I mean, I could put back-to-back Body Balance classes on, and in fact, yoga classes on as well at my site. So Body Balance is one of the Les Mills programs, so it's pre-choreographed. And it incorporates a little bit of Tai Chi, the kind of implications of Pilates, but we move quicker than we would do in a regular Pilates class, and then some of the benefits of yoga as well. So it's
a really physical, mental, relaxing.
Yeah, we have a lovely relaxation at the end of Body Balance
combination on them. And this is, because it's a Les Mills program, these are all the instructors. We get sent the choreographed structure that we are going to be taking the classes through for a 12-week period.
And that's no matter who you go to, anywhere in the world. We'll all be teaching exactly the same thing at the same time. So you will get to know what you're doing, and then that's going to enable you then to push a little bit harder and open up a bit more.
It's brought me on to my next question very nicely. So if we are strength training, we can see our progress by how quick we might recover, or how much we're being able to lift, or how many reps we are now doing.
Yeah.
How do we know if we've progressed our body balance workout, or if we've progressed our yoga? Like, what are our markers?
So, I mean, it's going to help in everyday life. So it's going to help you with your lifting and your strength training anyway, doing any kind of yoga or Pilates or whatever kind of training you're going to be doing. But you might find that your balance is going to improve dramatically, because we do balance work in most of our classes. And because that obviously then helps long term. We've spoken before about how balance is important in preventing injury. And you're going to notice your flexibility is going to be so much better. So again, that's going to help you stop getting injured possibly.
I suppose this is all our neuromuscular training. So we're getting our body used to being able to hold a balance.
Absolutely.
So that's how we will track our progression.
Yeah,
we might be able to stand
absolutely.
for a couple of seconds, and then by the end of the 12 weeks, you're holding the same pose for a minute.
But again, I think I said earlier, we're always looking at being a work in progress, and you're never going to be the same one day than you are. I was teaching a yoga class the day before yesterday, and I was horrific in my balance, absolutely, because I was tired, I was dehydrated, and I taught a class yesterday and I was fine. So again, it differs on how you're feeling as well. It differs at day to day with things as well.
That's
so
one
yes,
of that. I'm going to use a Tim quote. So
Go on.
Tim is our amazing ultra runner somewhere in Europe at the moment, running back to Australia.
Right.
And he said, "Don't chase perfection, chase improvement."
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
And that's kind of the mantra that I use when I'm teaching classes that are mind body classes.
going on to our master trainer here.
Hi there.
Pilates.
Yay! So I love Pilates. I've been teaching Pilates for, goodness me, over 20 years. I've been teaching Pilates for.
Wowzers.
And I think Pilates and yoga often get pushed together.
Absolutely.
And people think, oh, they're the same thing. They're not the same thing.
Let's go. Why are the biggest differences between them?
Biggest difference, they're both going to give you strength benefits. They're both going to give you flexibility benefits. They're both going to give you the ability to connect with your breath. We breathe very differently in Pilates than we do in yoga.
Oh,
So, for example, in a yoga class, we do belly breathing,
Yes.
whereas in a Pilates class, we do breathing through your diaphragm. So we think about as we're inhaling, as if your rib cage, excuse me if you're not watching, but your rib cage sort of rises and expands as you inhale. So you nice wide breaths, and as you exhale, you're drawing everything back
so that's also my other side of my brain is going. So diaphragm is also the top of our core.
Yes.
So it's holding our lungs up,
Yeah.
top of our core cylinder.
Absolutely. And you often find that people come to Pilates for rehabilitation purposes. So you'll often find that people have had, if they say, oh, I've got a bad back, they'll go to their GP and he'll say, you need to go to a Pilates class.
Why would I be going to a Pilates class if I got a bad back?
Because we train your core.
Yeah.
So again, it's very much focused on your core, on your pelvic floor work. So again, we look at really physically show people, not physically, but talk people into being able to engage their pelvic floor muscles and how to work their core correctly.
Yeah. So sometimes it's hard for us to have that neuro pattern with our core because we can't see our core.
No.
It's a great group of muscles that are all literally physically within us. So it's not as if we've got the joy of being able to do a squat and we can actually physically see our thighs moving, or a bicep curl where we're lifting that weight up to the shoulder.
Yeah.
We can see our bicep moving, or where we hope our bicep is going to be growing.
Yeah.
Our core are deep internal muscles with then another set of muscles on top. So being able to train core is actually quite difficult.
It is. And that's why I think it's really important that you go to a Pilates instructor to help you get the benefits of that. And there's various forms of Pilates you can go to.
Yeah. So we know we've spoken about different names of yoga classes.
Yeah.
Are there different specific Pilates practices?
Yeah, there are. So Pilates was created by a guy named Joseph Pilates back in 1883. I think he was born. So it was sort of in the 19th century he was creating it. And it's a series of 34 specific exercises. And he very much went from a rehabilitation background to get those exercises together. So if you go to a classical, we call it a mat-based Pilates class, and that would be your classical 34 exercises that you do within those classes. But there's also, go on, you've asked me a question.
You do all of those exercises, or the class is formatted picking
Either or.
some of them?
Either or. Sometimes if I'm feeling particularly cruel, I will make my class do the entire 34 back to back. And sometimes I just pick some of them out. Again, depends on who I'm teaching and what it's for. You can make it sport specific, or you can make it rehabilitation specific. But that's kind of your general Pilates mat-based class. And I think that's what you'd see in most of our sites.
Top 5 favourite mat-based Pilates moves.
Okay, I would say the 100, which is a really challenging exercise where you are looking at connecting your breath with your movement.
Ooh.
So that's one of my favourites. I love working posterior chain a lot, so I love doing bridge work.
So posterior chain being our muscles that are running down the back of our body.
Yeah.
All the way from basically the top of the back of your head all the way down to our heels is our posterior chain.
Yeah. I think you can't talk about Pilates without doing some sort of a plank work, which We love plank in Pilates. Also do it in yoga as well, but plank is lovely. And I like things like a side kick. So the way that I teach Pilates, I tend to try and link things together and do like a progression within one move. So maybe we'll do some work on all fours with a pointer. So you're on all fours and you've got arm extended, leg extended, and you can do some movement from that. That's one of my favourites. And I might link that with other things.
You just said a leg kick, though. I've now gone to body combat and I'm side kicking somebody.
So
and I've not
leg kick, a side leg kick in a Pilates class would be you are on the floor, resting on one knee with the same hand on the floor, and you're lifting the opposite leg away from the floor.
That takes a heck of a lot of strength and balance.
It's really challenging.
Wow.
Really challenging. And I think with a Pilates class, you're looking again to maybe don't run before you can walk. It is really challenging.
Top tip
is take the options. I went to a Pilates class last Thursday evening, and I had a horrific time because I've forgotten that when you're teaching Pilates, obviously, again, you're hands-on.
Yes.
And there was a specific thing we were doing. And I thought, oh my goodness, I haven't done this for months. It was dreadful.
Muscles, bodies gone, no, forgot how to do it.
Yeah.
We'll retrain.
Yeah.
So start at step one, not step.
Absolutely. And your instructor will take you through, here's the base move, and then should be giving you, and here's an option if you want to make that a little bit more challenging and a little bit more challenging. So we'll start with the basic, get you set up, get you breathing correctly, get you drawing in the parabolic floor, and then move you.
And I guess that's one of the big benefits of a Pilates class. You've just said it. So you've got your basic moves, but then you're skilled again as instructors to be able to take you to level 2, to level 3, to level 4 of the same base of that move.
Absolutely.
But just how it's being progressed.
Yeah. And you can have very, very often you've got a room of totally different capabilities in the class, and it's the instructor's job to be able to identify who is at what level and be able to offer a progressive class, basically, so that everyone's going to feel successful.
It's amazing. So we've done mat Pilates, talked a little bit about a rehab.
Yeah, there's also something called Reformer Pilates. Okay. So Reformer Pilates takes a certain piece of kit, usually a Cadillac. So it looks almost sort of like a long bench that's got springs and pulleys on it.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's very good again for rehab, but it works you can't cheat with it. Because if you're not moving correctly, it's not going to move.
Right. So the idea is, it's like a spring-loaded platform, and by going through the motions, you are moving those springs. So that's basically your resistance as
Absolutely.
well.
So it adds you some resistance.
Ooh.
Some Pilates classes will have things like little balls that you can use as well. And again, just assists with your alignment and things.
I call them physio bands, but I've seen those being used in Pilates classes. So they're like the stretchy bands.
Stretchy bands, we use those in Pilates.
Why are we using them in Pilates?
Just to add some more resistance.
Aha!
Yep, just to add some more resistance. So it might be in lower body work or in upper body work. We add those on there as well, yes.
And I've also seen now there's a bit of a trend, fitness Pilates.
Yes, fitness Pilates is kind of it's a brand. And again, it's a bit more generic, I'd say. I love a fitness Pilates class. I'm actually going to one tomorrow. Hi, Kat, by the way. I love a fitness Pilates class. And in that, again, we sometimes use equipment, but it's less what I call rehabilitation and more a general Pilates class.
Okay. If I've never done a Pilates class before, what am I saying to my instructor? What class am I looking for?
You should be fine in any class. Unless you're pregnant, and just check with the instructor on that. If you've got any, the instructor will probably know you're new anyway, because we know the faces, don't we? In that,
yes.
I'm sure you know everyone that comes to your cycle class, and we can kind of look and see who's new in a class. They'll come and ask you if you've got any specific injuries, anything they need to know about. They'll make sure that you are fit and well to kind of take part in the class. But you should be able to really go to any Pilates class and participate in some form.
So regardless of if you're a beginner or if you've just moved to the area and you've joined an Everyone Active club, go along. But always speak to the instructor.
Speak to the instructor, and you'll find an instructor that you gel. As with anything, we've said it before, haven't we? You'll find an instructor that you just gel with, and you will go with them. I want to tell you about something that I've been involved with that I'm very excited. It's been rolled out. EA Rejuvenate.
Oh, yes, we've spoken about this briefly before on our little...
Oh, my goodness. So this is now being... I'm giving myself a little pat on the back.
I was about to say, let's not undersell this. Michelle has written, designed, choreographed,
created,
and taught now.
The exciting thing now is that I am now having music commissioned for us, which is really exciting.
Right, EA Rejuvenate.
Okay,
so EA, everyone active.
Rejuvenate. So if you think we're trying to bring mindful movement into a fitness space. So I recognise there are people that do not want to come into a studio and do flexibility training, strength training. They don't want to do it. They don't feel comfortable in that environment. They don't want to do it. So we have devised this workout, either a 30-minute or a 15-minute workout that can either be done on the gym floor, in a Fortis studio, which is where I have it at my site, or in the studio. So we incorporate the strength and flexibility benefits of yoga, but I don't do any breath work. So again, some people don't feel comfortable with that element. They feel they don't want to lie there and connect with breath.
Sometimes you don't want to open up your emotions.
No, which is that we can't be all things to everyone, but we want to give those people the benefits. So this is what it's for. And then I use my USP, which are little trigger point balls. So they're hard balls.
Trigger point.
So we use, it's for self-myofascia release. I have to really think about when I say that.
It's like a
self-myofascia release. So we are looking, fascia it surrounds every single organ, every muscle within our body, as you know. And we are looking to try and prevent injury and assist with any tiny injuries that you may have by using these balls in a small, controlled movement to release fascia.
Oh,
do you like?
I do like. So if I knew that I had a tight glute, so glutes, or glute, one of the muscles in your derriere.
Yes.
How are you going to help me? How's EA Rejuvenate going to help me? Because I could be like, oh, it will go away, it will go away. We know it's probably not going to go away.
Absolutely.
And the body needs a little bit of help.
Yeah. So we'll start the class usually with a little bit of a warm-up, a mobility warm-up. So it's there's no choreography to it. Each instructor will teach quite differently. They've been given a whole series of moves they can use. Then we'll go into our strength and flexibility section. So that's very much, a lot of time it's standing poses. So your lunges, your forward folds, that kind of thing. And then we get the balls out.
Okay.
So if I was going to release your glutes, I'll be getting one of my little balls. I'll possibly get you sitting down or lying down. And we would use small controlled movements to really target areas within your glutes.
So my body weight is now basically the pressure on this ball, and that ball is hitting my my trigger spot. So
absolutely.
That's the bit where the ball goes and I go, woo!
Yeah, absolutely.
For want of a better description.
It's very much, there's lots of, it sounds a little bit like a maternity ward in class sometimes.
I bet the noises are like,
the noises are amazing. There is some bad language. I do have a safe word that they need to shout if they feel too much, which is pineapple. Hi, Spellthorne, by the way. How are you? And yeah, it's a really accessible class for people, and people have loved it because they know they need to do it. It's one of those things, a piece of kit that you don't know what to do with sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it can be a little bit intimidating. So yeah, it's great.
But what a fantastic, because we know high-end taught lionesses. I'm always going to be championing the lionesses. And all the footage that we saw post-games of like cold water plunges.
Yes.
But we saw the use of the trigger point balls.
Absolutely.
Foam rollers.
Foam rollers. You could use golf balls. You could use tennis balls. I use spiky balls sometimes. There's all sorts of aids that you can use that will help alleviate fascia. It's very exciting. So check them. These classes are being rolled out to all of our sites. So check it out on your timetable. EA Rejuvenate might be in the gym floor, might be in the studio, could be in your Fortis studio if you're at Spellthorne. Yes, you are.
Coming to some sites soon.
Very soon. I'm doing lots of launches over the next few weeks, which is very exciting. So watch this space.
And training off. You tapped on it then, but if I'm a member and I'm in the gym, or I'm indeed paying as you're going, is there a specific kit that I need to buy for yoga, Pilates?
No, we have everything at site, everything. So if you are going to a yoga class and they're going to be using yoga blocks, yoga bricks, straps, bolsters, balls, it will all be at site. So mats, you can literally just rock up.
So go, bottle of water.
Water's all you need on yourself.
A towel.
Yep. Loose clothing, I would say, something you feel comfortable in. It's usually barefoot. Pedicures are not essential, but I do a check. And yeah, so that's all you need, just yourself.
Amazing. Oh, I love being able to chat to you. So hopefully, team, we've been able to go over what is yoga, the difference between yoga and Pilates, Body Balance, and now our EA Rejuvenate. But the important factor is factor it into your workout programming.
Because it's going to help you not get injured. Mm-hmm. It's going to really release everything that you've done in your workouts. It's just got so many benefits. So do it, please, I beg.
Amazing. Well, I think we're pretty much there.
I've yabbed on today, so I do apologise.
No, it's brilliant. But on that note, if there's anything that Michelle has maybe made you think, yes, I want to try that, or I don't quite understand that, please always email us.
Yeah, email us at podcast@everyoneactive.com. You can get hold of us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok. I want to do a TikTok dance.
And once you've listened, leave us a lovely review.
Oh, please.
And share it.
Share the love.
Definitely share away. But thank you so much for joining us.
Lovely to see you. I think next time we're talking maybe all things aquatic, if I've heard the rumours correctly. Which could be exciting.
Watch this space. But thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for all of that.
Love. I could talk about it all day.
Yay. And team, thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening. Review us, as we've said.
Yes.
Leave us some lovely five stars.
Thumbs up.
Love hearts.
Anything.
We'll take them all. But look after yourselves, team. Take care and thank you so much for listening. Bye.